Hi, this is a first-time message going out for those of you that are interested to support House Resolution 1207. For all of you that know about this, and I'm sure many people do, House Resolution 1207 was introduced by Congressman Ron Paul of Texas. It was introduced into the House of Representatives around, I believe it was February 26, 2009. And this bill, in contrast to the stimulus package, the $787 billion stimulus package, H.R. 1207 was only one page, while the stimulus package was 1,000 pages, around 1,000 pages. Anyone who is interested in seeing the free market be able to work would be interested in passing this legislation. This legislation is to hold the Federal Reserve accountable for its activities, because as it is right now, the Fed is not subject to any law of Congress. They can spend money any way they want, and it can go anywhere, and it doesn't have to be appropriated by Congress. The Congress does question the Federal Reserve, as you can see on C-SPAN, or you can see clips on YouTube, but the Fed constantly rebuffs any questions regarding where they're spending their money. For instance, the Federal Reserve just gave, I think it was $2 trillion to a list of financial institutions who are struggling during these bad economic times. When asked to disclose the list of financial institutions who received the money, Ben Bernanke and the Federal Reserve, the people in the Federal Reserve Board, would not answer these questions, they said, for fear that disclosure might prompt people not to come forward and receive money. The problem is that people have a right to know where money's being spent. We have a right to know where our tax dollars go. We have, in this case, right to know where money's being spent. Another instance where the Federal Reserve needs to be held accountable for is the $300 billion that the Fed bought up of our own Treasury bills. Anybody who's read about this knows that our economy is sustained by our Treasury Department selling Treasury bills in the hopes that they all get bought up. Unfortunately, I don't know how it's shown anywhere that all the Treasury bills that are issued are purchased. Supposedly, if a large amount of Treasury bills are, like the $700 billion, we obviously had to sell $700 billion worth of Treasury bills to get that sum of money. So when the Fed is buying $300 billion worth of our Treasury bills, I don't know what that says to people, but to me it says that we're expanding the money supply. It's not even probably that great that we borrow so much. We borrow too much. We have to issue Treasury bills. They have to be bought up. That in itself is I think, a bad way to sustain an economy. But the Fed buying our own Treasury bills, we don't have, the Fed doesn't have any money to begin with. As many of you probably saw, the United States sells lots of gold, so we have less gold than we used to, even though the money isn't backed by gold anymore. So getting back to the legislation, this is why it's so important that H.R. 1207 is passed, because it's going to hold the Federal Reserve accountable, I suppose, for at least one audit. And the one idea that the Obama administration has had all along, which is a good one, I think, is transparency of where your money is going. And the unfortunate thing, however, though, is that the Federal Reserve part of all this is left out of the story. So on recovery.gov, the White House site, there needs to be the activities of the Fed put on there, and it needs to be shown the what the Fed is doing with money, how it's expanding the money supply, things of that nature. So I urge anybody who's interested in this to please call their congressman, ask them to co-sponsor House Resolution 1207. It's very necessary, and even call your senators or write your senators too and ask them to perhaps create a bill that's equal to this House Resolution 1207. If of course that bill passes in the House, which hopefully it does, then I guess it goes to the Senate. So we'll see what happens.